In the next part of the video, we'll be talking on what lists and tuples are. So lists and tuples are what are called data structures. They are a type of data types that is used to store other sequence of different types of data. So for example, to create a list, what you do is, let's use an example of a list called recipe. And this is our list. To create it, we simply use the square brackets. Right? This is how you create your list. This is an empty list. So to add items to the list, you say, let's use fish. Then you put your item. You can add a string. This is a string value. You can add number value if you want to, but we are creating this for recipe. Let's say fish, pepper, salt, and let's say pickle. Then at the last one we'll say tomato. So this is our list. And another thing you notice about lists, it's an ordered sequence of data, meaning every data, it starts with the number, which is 0. So the order means it combines data in an order, which is from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a sequence. So this is how your list starts. And to get the item, you must know the index position. And in programming, your sequence, they start from index 0, index 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. So this is a list of 5 items with index starting from 0. So let's hop into our code and create our first list, then do some other operation with our list. So we create our recipe list. We've created an empty list, so now we can fill it with items. And the beauty of using list compared to string is that a list is mutable, right? And so we can change things in our list. We could add items to our list, remove items from our list. But to change a string, you have to reassign the string to another, or change the variable value of that string. Like for example, when we created Fred, in order for us to change the digits in Fred, we have to reassign a new value to it, a new string value to it. So that is, if you pickle, that is the basic difference between a list and a string. It is mutable, which means we can change the value without affecting the list at all. Right? This is tomato. Okay. So we've created our list. We can print it and we'll see exactly, it gives us the list item. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. The beauty of this is we can also print just one item in our list, and this is how we do it. Go to print. Okay. Pass, and to specify the item we want to print. Say we want to print the first item, we use the index of 0, pass in that into our print value, print just the first item. You can also copy this and do this for any of the items in our list. So let's print out the 4th item, which is 012, which is the last item, tomato. So the beauty of this is that we can change values in our list. Okay? We can change the value in our list. So say we want to change this fish value to meat, we can easily change the value by referencing to that item in our list and reassigning the value to something else. So if we were to print this out, we will get meat, right? We are printing the same thing, but we change the value of our list item, change this index to meat. So to delete an item from our list, we simply use the delete keyword. Then we specify the item we want to delete. Say we want to delete the last item. let's delete a random, let's delete the second item, which is 012, which is salt. Once we press delete, it removes that item from our list. And if we print our list again, we will see that it has successfully removed that item from our list. So another way to remove items from our list, if we just want to remove the last item, we can use the pop method. For pop, this is a method of list. Any list, all lists has this method. Then once we print this, you see that it has removed the last item from our list. It removes the item from the back. So we've created our list. Now we want to add new items to our list. So how do we go about that? We use a method called the append method. And this is how we use the append method. Simply write it out. Then pass the values you want to insert to your list. Let's say tomato, pepper. We have tomato, pepper. Let's say curry. We want to add curry to our list. So once we print this list out, you see that we added curry to the back of the list. Successfully added curry. So we've known how to create a list, how to delete item from a list, specify the item we are going to delete the last item. So another thing you should also know is a list can store any data type. We can store numbers, we can store strings, we can store order lists, we can store maps, we can store anything inside your list, any form of data in your list. So let me create a list that contains a lot of data. Let's call this string and number. So we can create a list that contains both string 1, 2, 3, Okay, we made a little mistake right over there. We needed to, like I told you, your string, your name cannot have a space. So let's print this out. Grab this, print this. It works perfectly without any form of error. See, it prints it out with the list. Another thing you should also notice is that, let's create another list. We can add another list. We can add two lists together. Let's say this is string. Let me just copy this from over here. Paste this in. Then this is number. Copy this. Let's do this fast. Okay. So these are two strings, right? So we can create another list that combines, that stores the two lists inside of it as a list item. Right? You can just pass in this. The first one is string. So like I told you, a list can also hold another list. Number. Right? So once you print combine, see it has one list and another list. And to access, say you want to access this value, what happens is this entire list is stored in the index 1. Then inside index 1, there's another index which starts from 0, 1, 2. So say you want to access 3, what you do now is say combine. So we have to use print, which is in index 1. Then you say index 2, right? So let me just put a print around it so we can see it on our terminal. Okay, gives us 3. So this is a way, so a list can be nested. You can have a list inside a list inside a list. So you just need to nest it like this all the way down to the one you want to get. Okay? So we've learned how to nest list item. So we can store basically anything inside our list. So the next thing we need to know about our list is how to combine two lists together. There are two methods to do this. We assign this combine. You can say to compress the two lists together so they don't come out as two separate lists. We can simply just add string plus numbers. Yeah, then when we print this out, it combines the list directly together without adding them. You can see 1, 2, 3, without making them two separate lists. Just merge the two lists together. Another way you could do this is you could use the string dot extend, then pass in the number, okay, I made a mistake with the name. So always be conscious of your error message. So you read your error message and see where the problem or the issue is coming from. So now once I print the string back, it will combine both values together for me, so which it did. So you can also multiply your list. So if I should do something like this, multiply my numbers value, what it simply does by 2, it will just multiply the list by that. It will create 2 copies of my list. Multiply by 4, it gets 4 copies of my list. So this is what happened. This is our list item 1, then the same thing 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 3, 1 to 3. We create 4 copies of our list and merge that into a new list. But you cannot perform division or subtraction from our list, because trying to divide your list is like telling the computer, okay, break my list into smaller sections. The computer cannot. Maybe you have a list of 1, 2, 3, 4. How can you definitely tell the computer, okay, break my list to sections? There are multiple ways you could do this. You can say 1, 2, 3. You can divide into 3, divide into 2. There's a lot of ways you can do this. So there's no definite way. So you cannot use division. Same goes with subtraction. You can also use that as well for list items. So now that we know about lists, we know that list is a ordered sequence of data, and it's mutable, which means you can change items in your list. So we need to understand what tuples are. Tuples are exactly like a list, but the difference is that you cannot change items in your tuple. And to create a tuple, you don't use square brackets, you use parentheses. So an example for tuple could be weekdays. So weekdays. So to create a tuple, you say like this. You can say the weekdays are Monday, as Monday to Friday, Tuesday. So the value of tuple, so you ask me, why would I use tuple instead of just using a basic list? So these are for items that will never change. For example, days of the week will hardly ever change. If you're using English, the days of the week will not change as long as English remains. So in your code, most likely, the days of the week will not change. So items like this will not change. Then maybe the state of your program. For example, there's a program that have 2 states, active and offline. Yeah. So things like that, they don't change. So you want to store them in data types that don't change, that cannot be changed externally from outside. So you see, if I want to change my weekday now, so I want to change Monday to some other data. Let me say Monday. You will tell me tuple object does not support item assignment. That means we cannot change our tuple item. So you can read from it, but you cannot edit, change, or alternate the values on the tuple. So that is it for the course, for this class. So in our next class, we'll go more in depth into maps and dictionary and how they are different from a list and how we can use them in our Python program. So see you in the next one. And if you have a question, you can leave it in the question and answer section or the comment section, and I'll get to you as soon as possible.